Hi, y'all. Zarath is here.
Yeah!
Oh,
I'm
gosh.
here! I'm here!
Hold on, I gotta
You're
do...
not gonna take me away! You can't get rid of me!
I have to do some volume adjusting, sir. Please wait.
Am I too loud or am I too soft?
I think you're too
loud.
No, I was gonna say, I think right now you're too soft. I have to fix it.
No, I can't be soft. I'm hardcore!
I thought you were about to say that you're hard. I'm like, in front of God and everyone. Say something now, Zarath.
Skibbity here.
Say a little louder.
I'm skibbity here!
Okay, he's skibbity here, everyone.
Hitting the gritty.
I'm making you slightly... No, you know what? I take it back. I'll have you stay relatively tiny.
They make me so big, I pretty much cover the entire half of the screen.
No, I don't think I will.
Why not? Why not?
Okay, y'all, for those who don't know, hi, it's me, welcome in. We are doing our first ever tier list stream, and this is my good friend Zarath, who has shown up on the channel like a handful of times at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's here. They don't know how to leave me alone. Oh god. Yeah, but yeah, Zarath is here. Zarath is here to join us for our first ever tier list stream. And I'm very excited. Zarath is a bit too low. Okay, I got it. Hold on. Properties. No, not that. Advanced properties.
I was about to say something stupid again, but my better judgment told me to stop.
Say something.
Something.
Say something else?
Something else.
I'm going to assume that that's okay unless somebody else says something. I think it should be fine, though. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Do you guys think Zarath can be louder? Is it aight? No, I think you're good. I'm going to assume that you're good.
I can be louder. I can be louder.
No,
I can be loud.
no, I don't need you.
I can be loud.
I don't need you to be louder IRL.
Oh, okay. I can be, though.
I know you can be. That's not what I'm asking. My god.
Oh, wait, there are some people referring to me in the chat. Hello, Dawn. Hello, Zario. Hello, Indigo.
That's Indy.
Indy, hello.
Yeah, Zarath is here. Anyway, shall we start with the actual stream stuff, or do you want to keep spewing out nonsense? I'll anyway you as much as I want. Anyway, hello everyone, welcome to this stream. Hello Don, hello Zario, hi Indy. We are doing our first ever tier list stream, and I'm planning on making this a monthly thing. We are doing a very special one for October, because it's spooky season. We will be doing classic Halloween monsters. And I tried to keep them in like kind of archetypes. So we'll have, for example, like vampires, and that encompasses all kinds of vampires. And I tried to pick as many unique monsters as I could. There are a couple that are like rather similar, and we get into some like slightly overlapping categories, but I tried my best to make them all like individual enough. And then the way that I am going to be ranking them is solely based on like what they're about, how classic of a movie monster or media like creature I think they are, and just like overall how good of a monster I think they are. So S is top of the class, apex of the form. This is as good as it gets. This is amazing. Love it. We stan. We go all the way from A to D. We have a category that's just, it's not my cup of tea. I know for other people, they might be into it. It's just not for me. And then F tier is when they are actively bad, and I don't think that they're very good.
I'm gonna be a menace to you and just say everything is S.
I already know that you're going to. I feel a feeling, at least for some of them, if I say they're S tier, you're gonna be like, no, they suck, just to piss me off. Knowing you.
Words, not mine.
Knowing you. But without further ado, we will get started. Yeah, knowing you. All right, let's see.
I just hit the whip in the name just now.
Of course you did.
Of course I did.
Our first creature that we will be subjecting to the wonder that is this tier list stream is, as long as it wants to open up the folder. We will start with vampire.
Okay, the classic.
We'll start with the classic vampire.
I like how you pick one of the more... I don't know if I'm allowed to say this word on stream, so I'll look for a different word. I like how you chose one of the more sexually looking depictions of a vampire, and not like the Nostradamus kind of thing.
Well, I mean, I was going back and forth with what images I wanted to use versus what ones I wanted to avoid. I didn't want to do anything that was too much gore or too terribly frightening, and I just liked this one because it was black and white ink with just a little bit of red. And also, Zerath, I know that you were not here for it, but I did a reading of Carmilla being the first vampire to appear in Gothic literature as a whole character with a dedicated story. So it's more of a nod back to her more than anything else.
I see. All right, I respect that. I mean, vampires, they're classic. They're classic. You can't really go wrong with vampires. You think of Halloween, one of the first things you see, you think of and see is a vampire bat. So just for that, I don't know. Personally, in my opinion, humble opinion, in fact, I'm gonna just place them with the S class.
Yeah, I was also going to put them in S. I feel again, when you think of, especially when it comes to classic monsters, and you think of archetypes that are within that, the first thing that you are ever going to think of is vampires and then werewolves. And they've spanned the test of time, because they're all the way back in Gothic literature and ancient folklore to even now in modern day literature, people still write about vampires. So it's been captive in the eyes of just the overall population as I don't know, just a very interesting concept, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, and one thing I'd like point out to why I think vampires deserve the S is because we already know, as kids, as the younger lads back then, we know vampires as this one specific archetype, drink blood, yada yada, all that stuff. Very simple. But as the years pass by, we just get more and more iterations of a vampire, a variety of origin stories, different interpretations. Even in some of I guess you could say classic RPGs where vampires are not a thing, they're also there now, and they got their entire thing going on. And even if you let's say for example in a different fantasy setting, and you just input a race there that shares the qualities of a vampire, oftentimes people will just refer to them as a vampire and not the in-universe term for them. That's how influential they are. Oh yeah.
I feel there's also a phenomenon with at least a couple other classic guys that we're gonna get into in a little bit, but yeah, when it comes to just the branding, the overall like understanding, everyone's obsession with them in pop culture, like easy S tier. Easy S tier. So
it is very hard to get it wrong, and when you get it wrong, oftentimes it's not the vampire's fault.
yeah. All right. Got our first movie monster up there. Let's go, gamers.
Gamers with the letter Y.
Going along the same train, our next movie monster will be the werewolf.
S.
Do you want to elaborate?
Do you really want me to elaborate 100% or maybe omit some details?
Please omit some details. I don't want to get age restricted on this one.
Alright, so.
My god.
Okay, so werewolves, the reason why they're S is, I mean, we already mentioned this a while ago. You, rather, mentioned this a while ago. When you think of Halloween, the first things you think of are werewolves and vampires. It's gotten so into... they're so influential and so recognizable enough that the entire thing between vampires and werewolves are pretty much intrinsically linked to each other. You think of a vampire, a werewolf comes after, and vice versa. They got this entire rivalry going on. And personally, for me, I don't know. I'm a sucker for things that for the animalistic side of things, so to speak.
Thank you for censoring yourself there. Oh my god.
Well, you know me. Well, wait, to go to my point, I think this is more of a personal thing. You know, many people can have their own personal opinions of the werewolves, but to me, it's an easy S. I don't know what you think, though.
I will say, when it comes to, again, classic movie monsters, I would say that werewolves have more variation than vampires, where we all have the same kind of understanding of what a vampire is and like what vampires generally look like. I feel like werewolves have often quite drastic different interpretations. I know the image that I'm using here is actually from the Underworld movies, which I've talked about a surprising amount on this channel for not having like sat down and watched it with my chat yet. But this is from the Underworld series, and you know, like they describe them as lichens, and there's like such a variety of how werewolves are portrayed. I will say I personally don't feel as if it has the same, like, there's something about just how iconic a vampire is that werewolves don't hit the same exact mark. I mean, werewolves are still very popular in like media today. I won't say that they aren't, but I feel like it doesn't have the same like effect the way that vampires do, at least for me. So I would probably say A tier because it's still really, really good, but S tier is like the absolutely exceptional ones.
I may have to agree with that, you know. I see your point, you know. Going back and, you know, thinking back with a clear conscience and clear mind now, not fazed by anything else.
Oh my lord. I know, but God.
Yeah, you are right. You are right. You know, they're you know, looking at like the vast majority of media, especially I guess you could say that my personal example as to why I think they're not as influential as vampires. Citing what I said a while ago, you look at something, it has vampiric qualities, you call it a vampire. You don't care about what in-universe term they're called, you just call them a vampire. But for werewolves, it's not as influential enough to call them a werewolf because sometimes people call them lycanthropes or lichens or different names that they gave that thing. So I guess I see your point. So with a clear mind now, looking at everything, maybe A is the right place for them.
Yeah, and I feel like, again, when it comes to like appearances, like we all have settled on what we think vampires look like, but when it comes to werewolves and lycans, some of them end up looking more wolf-like, some of them end up looking more just animalistic in general, so it really depends.
Yeah, but you know, still by my humble personal opinion, they can be S.
They can be S, yeah.
Let's go.
But as the general archetype, we'll say A.
Yeah, I understand that. Alright.
Alright, next up, we got zombies.
Zombies. Oh man. Okay, so this one's a bit of a doozy, personally, for me. Only because they're a classic. Everyone knows what a zombie is. You know, everyone, same thing with vampires. Some people see a zombie like thing, they just call it zombie straight up. But at the same time, personally for me, they've become so oversaturated in pop
Oh yeah.
culture. They've gotten so oversaturated saturated that the mystique and the what makes zombies such a lovable concept kind of like, I don't know, got diluted. So only because I suppose for nostalgia and the medias that I've consumed that I really love zombies in, I'll place them in A, but I think they're better off in B.
Okay, yeah, that's understandable. I will agree with you on a lot of those points. There is like an intense oversaturation with the market of just different interpretations of zombies, how like different creators perceive zombies. There's just there's too many franchises to count, and even just like general like how we perceive and understand zombies. There are so many different kinds, so many different variations, depends on what movie you're talking about and like what piece of media interpretation, or if it's this kind of zombie from this interpretation or this kind of zombie from this like there will be multiple types like stacked on top of one another just within one realm. And also like it is a very cool concept at its core, the dead coming back to life. But as we see in most of those like zombie survivor shows and video games and whatnot, they are very easy to just disarm yet again, because they're not like their own they're the dead coming back to life, and they only have so much strength in a rotting body. So I like, although I really love the like OG concept, again, it is quite oversaturated for what it is. They're still very iconic, and when like, again, it's the whole thing of they'll call them walkers, they'll call them this, that, and the other thing, and but like everybody still knows that they are zombies. I will say that it still has like a positive, like, it's not like an automatically bad creature type, but I will say I'm not neutral on it. I'm still positive about it, but it's not in the, oh yeah, this is great, and it's certainly not in the exceptional tier, so I would say B.
Alright, so that seems to be a common denominator for the both of us. I'm not gonna argue with that. I think zombies are safely in the B category.
We're going B for brains, y'all.
Ha! Brains!
B for brains. Alright.
Alright. The three gigantic classics of Halloween media down to a T. So I wonder what's next.
So the next little category is probably gonna follow like mythos and more, how do I put it? Just again, more like movie. It follows more like movie stuff. So within that line of thinking, we're gonna go with Frankenstein's monster.
Oh.
Ooh.
Okay, now this one, my opinion, I think most of what I'm gonna say for my reasoning of Frankenstein Monster's rank is going to be just solely opinion at this point.
Okay.
I love the concept, delivery as well, the original intended message as well. Absolutely love it. I'm a sucker for it. And it just sucks that popular media just dumps it down to just stupid monster. And so I'm gonna say only because of how I love the character behind Frankenstein's monster is he's an automatic S. I don't care. He's an S.
Ooh, okay. I think I might actually have to agree with you on that the more that I'm thinking about it. So, as you probably know, I am like quite the Gothic literature nerd. I love Gothic literature. It's the kind of literature that has the type of language I like, and it like gets into very complex issues like this, like the morality of the situation and everything, that I find it quite fascinating. And when it comes to different interpretations of Frankenstein's monster, there's really not a ton, because it is like a singularly explained story versus like vampires being more folklore, and like werewolves probably being slightly more folklore, versus Frankenstein's monster is just, that's the one story. It is of Dr. Frankenstein and his monster, which is already just so iconic, and everybody like knows the imagery of Frankenstein's monster. You go to any store to buy like Halloween decorations or whatever, you will always see like little Frankenstein monster's face on things, and like you know what the stature is. It's just, it is really, really iconic. And people don't really stray too much from this type of imagery that they used in the very first, like, Frankenstein's monster movie, which makes sense. And it's one of those things that's stuck in pop culture's mind. I don't think that it is nearly the same level of icon as vampires in general, but it is still like truly an iconic thing. I'm sorry, there's a fly in my room right now. It is pissing me off. Okay.
Hey, just let him join in. Just a little guy.
I don't know about that. I don't know how many opinions he's gonna have on movie monsters. But yes, I will say that I truly love the story, the intent, the lesson of it, the different movie adaptations, the continued pop culture understanding, and just even the whole meme of like, well, he's not Frankenstein, he's Frankenstein was the name of the scientist. The fact that that's still like an ongoing joke for everything. Where that's not Zelda. Zelda's the princess. You play as like that whole thing. It's just, it's iconic. It really, really is. So I'm gonna put him in S tier behind Vampire.
Okay, I want to add like my an additional 2 cents about Frankenstein's monster.
Yes.
I've already said my piece about, Frankenstein's monster as the monster itself, the one that we all know about.
Yeah.
Automatic S. However, popular media's interpretation of Frankenstein's monster in most of their movies is an F for me, actively banned.
Oh, yeah. In like Hotel Transylvania and stuff like that, where they just kind of make him a big dope.
Yeah, and all those stuff. Yeah, definitely. Those interpretations, easy F for me.
Yeah, because Frankenstein's monster wakes up and is immediately like, why did you do this? This was so fucked up, why would you do this? And then Frankenstein abandons him, and then he's just left to wander, and he's like, what am I? What am I? I don't know what I am, and it's fucked up, but and just like, and I understand why they do it, because it's like for kids' TV shows and stuff like that, but like,
yeah.
the moral philosophy that is like inherent to the character is completely lost, and that's what like draws me to put it in S tier.
Exactly. Yeah. Same. Pretty much the same sentiment.
All right.
I think that's all I can say about him. He's just a guy.
That's fair.
The guy of all time.
All right, this one's gonna be more of a broad category, but that's okay. It's ghosts. This includes a lot of different types of ghosts, but you know, in general, ghosts.
In general, ghosts. I don't really have a strong opinion of them, aside from the fact that there's the interpretations are varied, very varied.
Oh my god, yeah.
Most innocent, like Casper the Ghost, you know, the friendly ghost, the one that you use as a reference, to, you know, the more horror-esque ones, like I guess you could say The Conjuring or something like that. And I guess because of like religious ties to it, and I'm not even just straight up talking about Christianity. I'm talking about like all kinds of beliefs and religions.
Yeah.
Because they are so intrinsically linked to those, they just, the concept of ghosts themselves gets lessened, and the attention gets propelled towards the interpretation of the culture. So for me, if we're just gonna talk about ghosts default, oh man, it's, you know what? I'll be a bit nice. C.
Yeah, I would say that ghosts as a broad category without any nuance is purely neutral ground. If we were to get into the different types of ghosts and all of the different variations, then I'm sure we could be a lot more nitpicky and be like, this ghost is better than this ghost. But as a general, all around category that encompasses all types of ghosts, I would say C tier.
Yeah, C. Ghosts are the ones that, you know, some people say there are some things that you can never go wrong with. Well, I say ghosts, you are just playing it way too safe.
Yeah,
I guess you can't go wrong with ghosts, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to make ghosts a really demanding presence.
Yeah, I mean, they're all right. I don't have a negative opinion about them, but they could certainly do a lot more as a general category to, like, really have that impact the way that the other creatures have.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Why am I so civil? I should be a menace to you. I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you haven't been more of a menace this whole time, but maybe it's because, like, we've been agreeing this whole time as well. We haven't really had that much of a difference of opinion at all.
I wish I can disagree on something soon. I want to piss you off.
Yeah, I know you do. Okay. Again, same kind of vibe going on. We're going for the super classic, guys. Let's go for The Mummy.
Ooh, mummies.
Now, it was pointed out to me by Chronic that mummies are just a variation of zombies, but I feel like in terms of the way they are portrayed in media, they are treated quite differently, and therefore I decided to make it its own category.
Yeah, okay, alright. I do kind of agree with Chronic in one aspect, though. I do think mummies are just a variation of the zombie. Well, I also do acknowledge and agree that, you know, they've got their own subgenre going along, that it's enough for the mummy to be differentiated from the typical zombie. That said, however, I just don't think there's anything special about them aside from the fact that you can identify them as a mummy. And simply because of that, I'm gonna give them a C.
That's understandable, yeah. So, The reason why I decided to put it in a completely separate category than just regular zombie is because of the way that they are, I guess, understood in pop culture, where zombies are more, hey, there's like a disease going around and now a bunch of people are dying and they're being reanimated. Mummies are more like, hey, we're a bunch of historians going into an Egyptian crypt and oh my god, one of the tuts is still alive, like that kind of thing. So there's like a different vibe with the storytelling that comes along with mummies that zombies don't get. So that's why I decided to put it in a different category. That being said, while I do see that they have like a media impact in the same way that like Frankenstein's monster and zombies and ghosts have in like a very general sense, I don't think they're nearly as beloved as like vampires and werewolves. So I would say that they're more of like a general, yes, you associate them with Halloween, and yes, they are an icon of general Halloween stuff, but I would not go so far as to say that they are as loved as the other categories. So I will say C tier behind ghosts.
No argument there. No argument. I pretty much agree with the same line of thinking.
I'm worried what's gonna happen when we do have an argument, because I know it's gonna happen. I just don't know when.
I'm going to scream my heart out and actually just be a man-child.
Yeah, and like wake up everybody in your household.
You're just gonna hear someone furiously knocking at my door telling me to shut up.
Yep. I'm anticipating it already. Okay. Next up, we have the Invisible Man.
Oh, okay. I thought you're not gonna. I thought you're not gonna use a picture.
No, just leave it blank. Okay. Apparently, this is how they depicted the original Invisible Man in the first movie that he showed up in. Which you can see his hand, just not his face, which is what's confusing me, but it's fine. You know what? I'm not gonna dispute it.
All right. Invisible Man. I got my own 2 cents about this guy, and just like the werewolves, this is gonna be more opinion than it is with like.
Oh dear lord.
Look, okay, it's not how you think it is. All right, I swear this is a lot more innocent.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I'm gonna make this short. It's gonna be a short story time. When I was like in 2nd grade or something. Why are you laughing?
Just the fact that we've delved into a story time just because I said it's the Invisible Man. You're like, okay, story time. My god.
Okay, so 2nd grade, little Zerath, you know, in the classroom. I'm not a very good student. I like running all over the place, you know. I can't be sat still. Up until my teachers thought of something great, and they have this little corner in the room where various people, students and teachers can just place books in there for someone to read. Me specifically, because apparently that's the only way I could actually keep my ass down. And when I sat down there, I saw one of the thickest books there, and it was the original Invisible Man book.
Oh god.
My imagination back then was just very simple. You know, running around with a stick in hand thinking it's a sword. That's as far as my imagination can go. But when I read The Invisible Man, it opened my eyes to a bigger, more varied world of creatures and mystique. And up until this very day, I can still remember the illustrations in that book, and I still have my own personal visualizations in my head while I was going through that book. And because I absolutely love that book, I absolutely love how much of a fucking jackass the Invisible Guy is in that book, I'm gonna place him in S tier.
Why am I not surprised to hear you say that after that whole giant spiel?
What? I said all of that and I put him at F tier. What would you think?
Well, I mean, I don't think you're gonna like my opinion very much on this one.
You know what? It's an opinion, and I did say I was running on bias, so let's hear what you have to think.
So, when it comes to the Invisible Man, he is not nearly in the same iconic range as vampires and werewolves, in my opinion. And even going so far as to say that, like, I highly doubt people really pay attention to him in the same way they even do with, like, ghosts and mummies. I don't want to say that he is actively bad, because, like, he's not... How do I put this? He's not harmful in any sort of derogatory way, but I don't think he's really... What is... You know what? You can learn me up on this. What does he do? What's his whole thing?
He's a jackass. He's an absolute jackass. And he initially started off as a guy who turned invisible because of some experimental doodle thingy that he
Got
did.
it.
And he was like, oh shit, I'm invisible, and it became like a struggle. Oh no, I'm invisible. I have to live with the fact that I'm invisible and all that stuff. And he starts wrapping himself up in the cloth and whatnot. But then it came to the point where he wanted something. I'm gonna be vague about it. He wanted something, and he thought to himself, shit, I'm invisible. I could use my invisibility to my advantage.
Oh,
and
no.
knowing that this is a bad thing because it's something that he only wants, he does it. And for the rest of the book up until the very end, at least from my memory, he keeps double downing. So he is a bad person.
Oh, no, I did not know anything about the actual history. Okay, well, maybe I should put him in F tier then.
Only because I told him he is a bad person, and I wholeheartedly agree that he is a bad person, and you putting him in F tier because of that, I'm not gonna complain. I'm just placing him in S because of my childhood memories of the guy.
Okay, going off of you informing me that yes, he is an actively bad person, and the fact that when it comes to being an icon for Halloween, he is not nearly on the same level of any of these other creatures. I'm putting him in F tier.
I can't really argue with that. He is a jackass. Actually, you know what? I may be able to argue some weird point about it. So, of course, I've said personal opinion because of my bias towards my child memories. He's an S. But if I'm going to be as objective as possible, I'll place him probably in not for me instead of F.
Okay. I'm still gonna have him in F tier.
Alright, fine, yeah. And that's fine.
Not gonna change my mind on that one. Nope. Okay.
That's fine. God, I actually thoroughly enjoyed how much of a jackass he was. When I was reading, it was like, oh man, he's gonna get worse, is he? Oh, he did the thing.
Oh
my god,
no.
Did you know he became a part of a fucking actual car chase?
Oh my god. He just wanted to break the law just because nobody could freaking see him?
Actively,
That's wild! Alright. A little bit more niche, but I think still unique enough that we can count it as a separate entity. We have, like, swamp men, swamp creatures.
Oh, okay. I really don't have anything. I don't hate them, they're very good concept, I'm gonna give them that, whoever made the swamp thing, I can see the vision,
Yeah.
I don't mind them making that. It's pretty good as a concept character, but there's really nothing to it, so not for me.
I would say the only real piece of media that I think any sort of creature like this really stands out in is whatever movie they had one of these monsters in with Gillian Anderson. But that's just because fucking Gillian Anderson is hot as shit. And that's just the end of story, man. But when it comes to like the character or the monster itself, it really doesn't hold a candle. But I wouldn't say that it's really actively bad in the same way, because like it's a creature, and to my knowledge, it doesn't really have coherent thought the way that some of the other creatures do. It doesn't like its motivations are that are more similar to just an animal, like killing to survive, that kind of thing. So I can't imagine it really having that much depth of character either. I'm gonna say it's probably just not for me. I'm sure there are people out there that like really care a lot about the iconography of a swamp monster, but it's not me.
Yeah, it's definitely not for me. I don't think swamp monster is actively bad, because I mean, looking at just the concept and the costume design and the iconography is definitely not bad, I guess. I mean, maybe the movie's bad, I don't know, I haven't watched the movie, so let's leave that out. But he honestly just is not for me rather than an F.
Yeah, I think he's just a funny little guy. He's just not for me.
Just a guy.
He's just a guy.
Just a guy.
I mean, like,
you know maybe he's happy to be
yeah,
here.
he's not terrible. He's not awful, but you know.
Swamp happy to be here guy.
Yeah. Okay, another one that we're gonna have to be kind of more general on, because there's quite a lot of concepts for this one, but we got aliens. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh. Okay. I'm an outer space guy. I fucking love outer space as a kid and until right now. And even though I'm more of a right in the middle for of the alien existence and whatnot, aliens as the classic Halloween monster trope, they're okay. They are just okay. They can be better, and they have been better. Thing is, they can be also worse, and they have been worse. So I'll place these Mouse at C.
You're gonna put them all the way at C?
Yeah, they're just guys. You know, they're just extraterrestrial guys. There's nothing overly special about them aside from the fact that they are aliens themselves. So C.
Sheesh, okay. Well, I was
fun guys though. I'll do say they are fun guys. So if you make a very good argument, I agree that to put them in B.
I was going to say, there are literally so many different interpretations, not even just of the general classic alien trope, but even, especially in franchises that deal with just outer space in general, Star Wars, Star Trek, just any games where the setting is different planets in outer space, that there are so many different types of aliens that it's hard to really encompass them into one thing. Again, I use the classic Hollywood kind of marketable appearance of the green-headed bald guys with the giant eyes and the no noses. Yeah, the Alamouse. But when it comes to aliens as a whole category, I would say that it's easier to have good variety with aliens in comparison to the slightly more stale variety of zombies. So I personally feel like aliens have more potential and are slightly better than zombies because of the amount of variety in their different depictions comparatively to different depictions of zombies.
All right. Okay. I see your point. So where are you thinking of placing them?
I'm thinking of placing them in B tier above zombies.
Okay. This may be the part where we start maybe arguing, because I think, as I said earlier, I would agree to place them in B, but I think they're a tier below zombies, so they're B below zombies for me.
Okay.
Only because if we're talking about Halloween stuff, of course we gotta look at the horror aspect or the spooky aspect of it. But if you just also add the variety of aliens from media where the setting is in outer space, like Star Wars and all that stuff, the aliens they become more of just they become more part of the population. They're not them being aliens is a zany way to show variety in the cast, and it's less about the spooky aspect of it. And I was thinking about the spooky aspect of the aliens, which they are pretty lukewarm in. That's why I think if they're gonna be placed in B, they're gonna have to be placed below zombies.
See, I would argue against that, though, because there are still plenty of depictions of aliens that kind of prove them to be extremely dangerous and terrifying in instances such as the Xenomorph, or in instances like Dead Space, where they are they're almost akin to werewolves in the way that they act, where it's very animalistic, very carnal, very ripping to shreds. There's the whole not to get this stream age restricted, but there's the whole repopulating thing. And there was also what was it? There was that new Amnesia that came out a little while ago, and there was also some alien nonsense going on. And the aliens also got into some different categories where it wasn't really alien, it was more eldritch stuff. I feel aliens still have the potential to be quite terrifying, especially in the certain subtypes like xenomorphs. But I will say, I do agree with you on the zombies being more of a Halloween staple. So I will put it back and then put aliens behind them.
Yeah. But you pointing out some of the other aliens being actually really threateningly terrifying, that made me realize, oh yeah, they could be, because if Xenomorphs actually still scared the absolute fuck out of me. But I still do think in my heart of hearts that they are B tier below zombies.
Yeah. I think when it comes to Halloween iconography, zombies come before aliens.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's where that Alamau is gonna be staying.
Yeah. I think that's it for really, really iconic classic ones. And we're gonna start getting into the more, oh wait, no, there's one more, and then we're gonna get into more niche ones.
Now that Kat just mentioned War of the Worlds, I absolutely love that book. But at the same time, I still love the book, but I really love, I absolutely love how it ends and how the zombies were taken out there, because it's my favorite thing to discuss with my family sometimes. They died of the common cold.
Love that. That actually makes sense for an alien to not have the immune system built up for, coming into contact with literally any other life form. I went on a rant about that already when I was talking about Thanksgiving. We're not going to talk about that anymore because I was already worried enough that I was going to get canceled.
It's really goofy. I love it. It's goofy. Let's put it at that.
All right, the next one is the category of demons. Demons.
Alright, so I'll try to be as neutral here as possible because if I'm gonna be going with my bias, it's probably gonna last a lot longer than Frankenstein's monster or the Invisible Man. So, demons. Typical scary, stereotypical imagery of evil, you know? But in popular media's depiction of how evil they can be, it feels like they keep shying away from it, you know, because it feels like everyone knows how evil a demon can be, because evil, objective evil and whatnot, but they just keep blue-balling the audience into what kind of evil they could do, and some of the series that actually do tackle on how evil they can be, they're pretty, I don't know, I guess you could say, predictable, I guess.
Yeah.
But I have to admit though, there are some iterations and interpretations of the devil that is genuinely terrifying. It can actually make you, you know, start thinking twice or whatnot. So I think I don't know. I'll place them probably the B category, in between the zombies and the aliens.
Really?
I don't know. I'm still on the fence about that. That opinion will probably change a lot once I hear your side of things.
Okay, I was gonna say, because I got opinions.
Okay, I really don't know. That's like the tier that I give them if I haven't really thought too much about them, and since I know you're here as well, having your own opinions on it, I want to hear yours first before I finally put a nail as to what tier they're gonna be in.
Okay, so I am in total agreement with you in the whole media does not make demons out to be as scary as I think they actually probably would be, and they do try to like they curb a lot of the fear associated with demons. So I am gonna go like way back, and for those of you who stick around a lot, you know that religious blasphemy is like my kind of tea. I fucking love religious blasphemy. There's something about the way that stories are written that include religious blasphemy that are so incredibly interesting to me, and the depictions that they end up describing, it's just that it is literally chef's kiss amazing. Love that shit. I eat that shit up. So when it comes to demons as a full category, knowing their history, knowing like just how much knowing just how much they have affected the perception of like not only just religious bodies, but also just like the public in general, and the way that they've intermingled in so many different like understandings in different communities. So like there will always be the religious understanding of what a demon is. There is also, in a way, the very real, like fearful, paranormal sort of connection and understanding of demons. There is the like pop culture generalized understanding of demons. There is like the pop culture subculture with like heavy metal and those kinds of communities with the understanding of demons, and just the way that there are so many different like classical names that you could find in literature. There are so many different depictions, not only in the Bible, but again, in classic literature, in pop culture, in like just different costumes. People have different interpretations all the time in different costumes. And just, I believe that they are truly iconic. They don't have the same icon status in my eyes that Frankenstein's monster has, because of just how many different depictions there are and because of like the generalized pop culture understanding. But I still think that they are a top of the class great example of a Halloween monster. I will put them at S tier, but the lowest ranking.
Okay, now that's, I genuinely think, okay, maybe this may be the first a real debate you and I will have, because I still stand by my opinion that they're not as high as S. I can't accept that they can be S. I might, if we're gonna push even further, maybe I'll agree to A, but I don't think the devil can be an S. Only because, well, not really only because, but because I got like a couple of opinions of them. They are okay. So before I'll preface what I'm gonna say by saying it doesn't seem like it, and if you guys follow my Twitter, it definitely does not seem like it at all. But I am actually a surprisingly religious guy.
Oh yeah, I forget that sometimes. Whoopsie! Not me talking about how much I love religious blasphemy in front of you. Oh my god. I'm Boo Boo the Fool, my god.
Boo Boo the Fool.
I'm Boo Boo the Fool.
Yeah, okay, that's a new thing you guys are gonna have to, you guys have discovered about me. I'm actually surprisingly very religious. And because of my religious faith, I'm gonna straight up be open about that aspect. The devil, as scary as they legitimately are not as scary as you can think them to be. Only because it's very simple as well to scare the fuck out of them back.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, and that's why I still firmly believe they're in B, because they are terrifying. They have that folklore popularity aspect to them. They've got this scare factor based on both religious and fictional ideals about them. But they are as easily quote unquote banished as they can be also easily scary to you. So there's still a B for me.
That's understandable. With that in mind, I still personally have my own, like, I don't want to say connection. But I still have my own personal opinions about just how much I think they have influence in the pop culture spectrum. I am willing to put them at the lowest rank of A tier, but I still think that they are really, really iconic. And I personally love different depictions of demons and the devil because I find them very, very interesting.
Okay, we can reach a compromise by placing the devil in A, but to me it feels like a reach to put them in A, but I'll take it.
Okay, we're gonna go for it. It's fine.
Also, since I was pretty transparent to say I'm actually religious in my faith and whatnot, for those who don't believe in in my faith, that's completely fine. No problem with that. Fuck it. Everyone's got their own interpretations. This is simply my interpretation, and I ain't gonna damn someone for having a different interpretation.
I was gonna say, I did not think we were going to get into a religious talk today, but it makes sense now that I'm bringing up literal demons.
But don't worry, as long
Like,
as long as long as it's not the straight up devil, I think we can. I think I can safely say and believe that this will be the end of a religious talk.
Well, I was gonna say, I included the one from the Shadow, the Sonic redubs, the one that goes, Shadow, it's me, the devil. I'm here to convince you to do sin.
I don't expect a fucking comment about that, you know? Just it's okay. I'll just laugh at it. I know where it's coming from. I still think this is the first and last time I'll delve into religious faith because it's a devil. That's it.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna leave that one where it lies. We're not gonna think too hard about it right now, because otherwise we're gonna be here all day long. Okay, so now we're gonna start getting into the niche ones. There are some that are more, like mythos. There are some that are more, like current, like cryptids. But overall, I think that they can still all count and that they still have all, like, their own place. So I got opinions about this one. We're gonna do this one.
Let's see.
We're going with eldritch beings such as Cthulhu.
Oh, okay. All right.
The incomprehensible.
The incomprehensible. I have a similar opinion of eldritch beings. Not just Cthulhu. You know, Cthulhu is just one of the many eldritch beings. So I'm just gonna put all of eldritch beings, the concept of eldritch beings, into a bubble. My opinion of eldritch beings is similar to that of Frankenstein. Many people, especially popular culture, just don't give justice to what they are.
Yeah.
They are terrifying, but not in the traditional sense. Not traditionally scary or terrifying like vampires and werewolves. Not directly not direct in its message like Frankenstein's monster or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
They are simply terrifying for the sole purpose of unknowingness. You simply just cannot perceive it. And because of that, I'm placing... Okay, before I say my final ranking of them, I do understand that eldritch beings are definitely a niche interest, and I don't expect everyone to appreciate them the same way as other people would because of how niche they are. So, if I'm going to be as broad and as quote-unquote normie as I can be, I'll place them at D to C because of their popular interpretations. But for me, personally, as Zerath, they're an S.
Okay, I thought I was gonna have to fight you real quick. Well, okay. So I cannot share my full opinion on how I personally when flames on the side of my face. Okay, well, if you want to know my full opinion on eldritch beings, specifically Cthulhu, y'all can go back and watch my most recent drinking stream.
Oh my god, you discussed Cthulhu.
Yeah, it somehow got brought up and we were, yeah. But if I'm talking about them as a general Halloween like horror creature, I am still going to put it in S rank at probably the bottom tier, because the whole concept of not being able to comprehend them, they are like on a separate tier of understanding in this like world, because they come from a completely separate world, dimension, whatever it might be. And the whole surrounding dark and occult practices that surround the summoning process and the kind of worship process around eldritch monsters has always fascinated me. Just like the idea of like having these processes, having this whole dedication towards like the craft, more or less, of like occult nonsense, whatever it might be. I think that alone makes it so much stronger of a characterization than some of these other ones, wherein like ghosts, you turn into a ghost when you die. Simple as that. Zombie, you turn into a zombie if you get bit, and then you die, and then you reanimate. Eldritch occult stuff is you can never turn into it, but the practices are complex. You need to dedicate time and money and blood and sacrifice and all of these different things in order to even like get the opportunity towards anything relating to this being. I feel like is so much more, I don't know, it's so much more complex and so much more interesting that I have always been fascinated by it. I want to put it in S rank, bottom of the tier, but still S rank.
No complaints from me.
Okay.
S tier, bottom of the rank. Yeah.
Awesome. Because I do love me some Cthulhu. I really, really do.
Also, one thing that I just, since we're in the topic of eldritch beings,
Yeah.
I guess my favorite part as to what makes them so terrifying for me is that, they got cults and all that shit, right?
Yeah.
They do these complicated, sometimes gruesome, sometimes unexplainable rituals just to like even have an aspect of
Yeah.
the outer god manifest in our world and whatnot. And to us, it seems so, so inhumane, so out of this world and whatnot. So we could even like fill up books of implications of lore and all that yada yada. But to the outer god, it's simply just them peering into our world and thinking, look at these insignificant beings, and they probably won't even care.
Yeah.
It's just beneath them. And the thought of all of that matters so much to us, that's such a big deal to us, to be just a nothing burger to them, is what terrifies me.
There's some power dynamics going on, and I love it.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, is Zerath still a little bit quiet? Here, let me turn down the background music a little bit. I'll do some leveling out here.
Which is the dead one, the ghost or the living skeleton?
Living skeleton?
Dead, I guess.
Living skeleton? We haven't done skeletons. What you mean? Oh, you mean the
I guess
mummy?
That would be like the zombies.
Do you mean the mummy or do you mean the zombie? I'm going to assume you mean the mummy, but I don't know. Also, Zerath, say something. Maybe not that. I'm going to assume that it's better? I don't know. If a ghost meets its zombie, who is the... Oh! Well, I mean, it depends on your interpretation of, do you connect yourself more to your spirit or to your physical body? That's a whole moral dilemma. We're not getting into all that right now.
Ooh, okay.
That's a whole thing and a half. My God.
There's also the topic of how lucid you are as a spirit, because sometimes as a spirit, because of like how many people have different interpretations of spirits and ghosts. Sometimes you are 100% lucid and aware that you are a ghost. You simply are as you are alive, but just as a spirit. Sometimes you lose so much of yourself that you become a husk of what you were as a living person, as a spirit. So that also plays a part into what would happen if such a situation were to happen.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got sirens or mermaids. Zerath, do you have an opinion that you would like to share about sirens and or mermaids?
They're terrifying if you know their folklore. But as it stands, for a typical Halloween scenario, especially if said Halloween event has kids, I hardly think that the first thing that would come to their mind would be a scary mermaid. Although I think all of us here agree that mermaid folklore is terrifying, can be terrifying. So with that said, plus of how influential they are as Halloween imagery, I think I'll place them in D.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. Where, like, if you do understand the traditional folklore surrounding sirens and the whole luring sailors to their death thing, like, it is quite a scary concept. But when it comes to being a popular Halloween creature or like supernatural entity, I would say that it's not nearly on the same level as any of the other, like, really, really iconic guys that we have up there. Not even the same as, like, ghosts and mummies. So I would say D tier. I still do enjoy them as a concept. They are still very terrifying, and they have their place. And I do see people still, like, making costumes of them as, like, mermaids or sirens, and like it's still a popular thing, but not nearly to the same level as anything else. So I would say D tier.
Although I'll do say though, in some popular media, if the director and the ones working on said media know and are aware as to how terrifying sirens are, more often than not, that piece of media will be terrifying.
Yeah.
Because they're going to play into the folklore of the mermaids, they're going to play into the fear of the unknown of the ocean, they're going to play into all of like-minded similar fears.
Yeah.
And putting them all together, they can be very terrifying. But I think they're just too niche of interest.
Also, I just realized something as we're sitting here. Although I put the swamp monster in the not for me category, I just remembered Guillermo del Toro's Shape of Water. Now, that man is an S tier. Every other swamp creature is probably still in the not for me, but if we're solely talking about the Shape of Water...
Oh, that's
He's a kind being! He is a kind being!
Discussion of that movie warrants its own stream.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
That's a whole can of worms.
Alright, in the same vein, but slightly different, we have the Kraken! I thought it would be really funny to include the Kraken, so the Kraken is here.
Okay, the Kraken.
High tactical.
What Oh shit!
Tactical's been showing up. Tactical's been to a couple of my streams already to come say hi.
Hey, no need to punch at something so handsome.
No,
Anyway,
I agree, Tactical.
that's
I'll punch it in my off time.
You won't be able to. I know you can't.
Anyway, Kraken, opinions.
Kraken. What's Kraken? Anyway,
You're crack-a-lackin'.
I don't have a strong opinion of the Kraken. D.
Yeah, I don't have the strongest opinion of the Kraken. I feel like this isn't really the same level as, like, Halloween creature, the same way all the other guys were. Therefore, I would say D tier, and not even as good as the Siren. I do like the idea of the Kraken, but I think for this ranking, for this, like, the purpose of this ranking, Kraken is just not where it's at.
Yeah. It's so different from the Swamp Thing too, because like the Kraken just feels like it can be touched upon. It probably even thrust the Kraken into mainstream popularity, but it just hasn't reached that point. So
yeah, no. It just killed as many sailors as it's killed, and that's it. Next up,
Xerath streams always catch me while I'm working. Caught him a couple times with streamers though. Oh yeah, definitely Tactical.
Heck yeah.
Plus the Kraken. You're the only one thinking of that.
Well, anyway. Next up we have Gorgons, aka Medusa-like creatures.
Am I allowed to say something, or should I omit some stuff?
The only word that I will allow you to say in relation to what you are going to say is wood.
All right, yeah, let's just edit that.
Oh my god. What other opinions do you have?
Without saying anything too much, and an acknowledgement of their cultural impact in the Halloween sphere, I'm gonna place them at a solid B.
Yeah, I was also gonna place them at B. Because I feel like this is just such a well-known mythos, and the fact that it is still, like, quite a terrifying thing, and people still just, like, enjoy them as a creature concept, B tier at the very least. Some of the, like, if I'm going into classical interpretations of Medusa, I might even be swayed to put it in A to S, but in terms of regular depictions of Gorgons, and even, like, I'll include, like, Naga people as well, I will say B tier.
Yeah, safely in B tier.
Safely in B tier. Not on the same level as aliens, but a lot better than general ghosts.
Yeah. Also, I have a couple of more stuff to say about the Gorgons,
but
yeah. I'm not gonna say them because Tactical has already said something. You should read it.
Do I want to read what Tactical wrote, actually, for real?
Yeah, for real.
Are you sure about that? Funniest comment related to Gorgons I've heard was from a D&D bard saying, Tactical! Jesus Christ! Okay. You just have
Tactical
to wear.
has already said what I wanted to say, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
If you with a Gorgon, all you gotta do is wear shutter shades, and you'll be fine.
Either shutter shades or just, I could live with a blindfold during the entire thing, Nothing. I mean,
we're not getting into your kinks here.
Okay, let's go.
Oh my god. Okay, next up in the roster. Let's see. We got... Okay, still same kind of line of mythos. We got the Cyclops. I feel like a slightly underrated character. Got a lot of potential here.
Really, really underrated. Really, yeah.
I don't know why the one I picked is a freaking like muscle bear, but we're.
What do you mean? Most
Look
Cyclops.
at his chest! It's wild.
I know, but like, aren't most Cyclops Bara beasts though?
Are they? Would we consider?
Yeah,
I feel like this stream is devolving.
No, but for real though, even the most stereotypical blob interpretation of a Cyclops can still be technically be considered as a Bara beast.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Yeah, see?
So, what
Anyway.
are your opinions about this?
They are those creatures whose scare factor pretty much relies on the fact that they don't look like a typical human and that they're big. So now I may be omitting a lot of other stuff about the Cyclops only because I'm being tunnel visioned by what I'm seeing right now. Not in that manner. Don't you laugh at me.
Yeah, sure.
They are not bad. They're not bad, definitely. They're a staple. But I've yet to see a really good interpretation of them, so I'm gonna place them at C.
Yeah, I feel like they have so much more potential that is not being tapped into that I feel like should be more tapped into. I feel like there's a lot of potential there, and I feel like when it comes to being a Halloween character or icon, there are some people that like do really prefer to draw inspiration from like traditional mythos like Greek mythology. But I feel like it's an untapped market here. So I feel like they have a lot of potential. I feel like they can be very, very interesting. I'm gonna say C tier below mummies because they don't have the same iconic grasp that mummies and ghosts have, but I feel like maybe they should in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I guess just to like, be on the Cyclops side on this thing, it's kind of hard because they've got they've got the bare essentials,
Yeah.
Look at all of the creatures from the tier and above. We're talking about the dead come to life. We're talking about literal extraterrestrials. We have beings with powers that could literally kill or hunt you down or just absolutely scare you. And we've got stuff like moral dilemma and the imperceivable. So it's kind of hard for the Cyclops to actually contend with those. With what they have right now.
Yeah. You gotta keep an eye on them. Tactical, you are just such a comedian, aren't you?
Comedian knife.
Alright, next one. This one, I'm interested to hear your opinion on because I don't know how much you have an opinion on, but maybe you do? I don't know. But I find that I really enjoy the Headless Horseman.
Headless Horseman!
Headless Horseman,
okay,
man.
Right. Okay, so I find the Headless Horseman to be one of two things, and it depends on the media that I'm consuming. They could either be one of the coolest motherfuckers I've ever seen, or they could also really play into that creepiness of it. But it's a creepiness that I know they're not gonna harm me, or maybe if they are gonna harm me, they're pretty straight to the point. But it's more of like the scary part about the Headless Horseman is less on them and more of them as an omen.
Yeah.
And because of that, so this is gonna be more opinion than it is with actual cultural significance to the Halloween sphere. They are an easy top-ranking B tier or a low-ranking A tier.
Okay. I think I'm going to agree with you that I would say a low ranking A tier. There is just a certain culture when it comes to like the how do I put it? When it comes to the New England region of Halloween traditions, because like of course in like historical times people know New England to be like the area of all the witch hunts back in like 1700s, 1600s, all the way back to like the 1500s. The witch hunts were like the big historical significance of New England. Now, I did not include witches in any of the tier lists here because I feel like witches aren't exactly a monster in the same sense, but rather people that practice witchcraft. So I did not include them in this whole like ranking thing. But I feel like in order to sub for that, I still wanted to pick something that really stood out in that region, and the first thing that came to mind was the whole Headless Horseman myth. And I totally agree with you on the whole, like, it's more of an omen rather than an actual threat. And just the whole vibe that it has going on as, again, a singular regional myth, I still think it is, like, very, like, standalone. And it's very, like, it's very, very strong. Maybe it's not as iconic as zombies. And maybe it's not even as iconic as aliens. But I feel like when we think about Halloween characters, it's still like really, really up there. So
It's really up there.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna place it in B tier behind aliens.
Alright, you know what? I can respect that.
Okay.
I want to add like one more thing about the Headless Horseman, or
Yeah.
rather the concept of a headless man in general.
Yeah.
So, in the Philippines, we actually have a folklore thing about headlessness, and it's less on the Headless Horseman because there's no horse here. It's more on the concept of seeing someone headless.
Mhm.
And here in the Philippines, it really creeped me out, and that's why I think it plays into my opinion of the Headless Horseman, even though they have little to no connection with each other. But here in the Philippines, if you even if you see this briefly, but if you see someone without a head, like even you just glance at them and you don't see them have a head, but then you blink or you look again and they have their head back, it means that that specific person is going to die soon. Now, we don't know how soon it is, and we don't know if it's going to be by natural causes or because they're going to be killed. But the general consensus is, if you see someone without a head briefly, chances are they're going to die soon.
Oh. So it's not like if you see somebody without a head, you are going to die. It's if you see somebody without a head, they are going to die.
Yes.
So even if you like picture it in
either-
like your dreams?
Yes, even actually, now
Wow.
that you mentioned it, that's also a part of it. But from what I heard, and I guess from my experience as well, because I have really weird dreams sometimes, that comes very rarely, if not so rarely that someone could even live their entire life without dreaming that someone doesn't have a head.
Dang, man.
But if someone does manage to dream a specific person, especially if they know who that person is and they don't have a head in their dreams, chances are they're going to die really soon. That's the folklore behind the headless people here in the Philippines, and that's why I perceive headless entities as an omen.
Is it common courtesy to tell that person if you see that, or is it a you keep that shit to yourself kind of thing?
It's a keep that shit to yourself, because
okay.
From my knowledge, now this could just be completely different. Now I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong, but from my knowledge, if you tell that person that you saw them without a head and that they're going to die soon, chances are you will die soon as well. So you just keep it to yourself.
Okay. It's like the cheese touch.
It's like just like the cheese touch. Yes.
Got it. Understood.
Tactical says it sounds like the Banshee myth. I don't know much about Banshees at all to confirm this.
I don't know enough about Banshees either. Alright, which ones haven't we gotten to? Okay, there are 2 in this list that I don't think we're actually going to get to, and I won't mind it too much if we don't get to them, because they're not really, like, Halloween characters. But we'll go ahead with the last, like, there's like 4 or 5 of them. We are going to get into cryptids, which I love. I love cryptids.
Cryptids.
Starting with...
This big there.
Well, here's Bigfoot. It's Bigfoot time, baby! Give me them opinions about Mr. Big Feets over here!
The moment you mentioned cryptid, the first thing that comes to mind was Bigfoot, and you pulled out a picture of Bigfoot.
He is the cryptid, is he not? Is he not the cryptid?
He is the cryptid.
Exactly!
Okay. Now, I'll preface whatever I say by saying this. To me, because of the fact that I live so far away from the United States and that the concept of Bigfoot is kind of alien to me during my early years, I do not fear Bigfoot in any capacity whatsoever.
Yeah.
The only feeling, or rather the very first feeling I ever get whenever someone mentions Bigfoot is humor, because I absolutely love the concept of just this guy in the forest chilling and people are forcing themselves to spot this guy. That said, however, I really love how he has become the mascot of cryptids, and you know, in the Halloween sphere, maybe people fear him, maybe people don't fear him, but you cannot deny this bastard's influence, and solely because of that, I'm placing him at S because he is such an icon.
You're gonna put him at S tier?
Because he is such an icon. Only because he is an icon.
Only because he is an icon. Well, I think in terms of the Halloween sphere, as much as I do love Bigfoot, everything surrounding Bigfoot, the tales, the pictures, the whole like subculture, because there's a freaking subculture of people who just adore Bigfoot, and I get it. I understand the hype. But when it comes to being a Halloween icon necessarily, I would not say that he is more iconic than a zombie, or even the Headless Horseman.
You know, I might defer to your judgment on this one, because as I said, I don't know. I don't know much about the entire reception of Bigfoot in the region that he came from, so I'm really just going about like the internet memes about Bigfoot here. So I'll defer to your judgment for this one.
I think, in my personal opinion, that when it comes to Bigfoot, he is still better than a handful of some of the creatures that are on this list. Cyclops still needs to work up a little bit to be where he needs to be, but I would happily place Bigfoot in C tier behind mummies and above Cyclops.
Well, you know what? Yeah, I can respect that. I can respect that. But for me, in my heart, he'll always be S tier.
In our heart of hearts. Well, maybe later on I can do a cryptid ranking stream, but for these intents and purposes, we'll just do it like this.
I'm sorry, but if you're ever going to make a cryptid tier list and you just place Bigfoot there, it's gonna be a landslide. He's gonna be
Well, yeah, and I'm aware of that.
a landslide. The moment you just place Bigfoot on screen, I can just hear the crowd roaring.
Oh, I think the crowd's gonna roar for this next one. I think they're gonna like this next one. It's the man, the myth, the legend. It's Mothman. It's Mothman, baby! I could not do a bunch of cryptids without including Mothman. It's Mothman! He's such a special guy!
He's the only guy with a transparent PNG here!
He is that special. He really is just that special. We love Mothman.
Alright, I'm going to preface this again by saying that I do not fear this bastard.
No, you don't fear. He's a friend. He's shaped like a friend. We love Mothman. We love Mothman.
I love Mothman. Mothman is another legend. He may not be as much of an icon as Bigfoot, but he is still an icon in his own right. And because of that, like Bigfoot, I'm going to defer to your judgment in terms of the actual final ranking. But in my heart of hearts, Mothman is another S tier.
I feel like Mothman exists and thrives even more in the internet sphere than any other sphere. And it would not be right of me to do an online stream ranking these creatures without putting him in S tier. It's Mothman! Look at him! Like I'm gonna tell him no. Look at him!
Look at his beady eyes!
He's just a little guy! I love Mothman! Okay.
He's just a guy. Look at him.
Now, I'm still gonna put him at the bottom of S tier, because in comparison to Cthulhu, Frankenstein's monster, and vampires, as a Halloween creature, he's not on the same level. Which is okay. He doesn't have to be, but he's an icon.
He is an icon.
I will never tell him no. I love Mothman so much.
Mothman is amazing. No,
we love Mothman.
We love Mothman.
We love Mothman.
In this house, we love Mothman.
There will be no arguments. I will hear no arguments against Mothman. I love Mothman so much. Okay, we got three more.
Two creatures in this. Okay, I like how there are two creatures in this entire tier list made for scary creatures that I am not scared of in any capacity.
No, it's fine. Next up, we have Mr. Goatsucker. We got the Chupacabra.
Ah, Chupacabra. Okay. He's creepy. He's definitely creepy. He definitely in the creepiness scale, definitely on that scale. Although I do feel he is more of a niche Halloween imagery more than he is like the general Halloween sphere where everyone knows him.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that do know the Chupacabra and the legend and whatnot, I think I only because I don't really know much about the Chupacabra, aside from I know that he's the goat sucker and I know that he is a folklore legend in the region. I just don't know, rather remember which region it is.
Mm-hmm.
C tier, bottom C tier.
Okay. So I actually learned up on the legend of the Chupacabra through watching Mystery Files, which is with Shane and Ryan, who do Ghost Files, and I adore them. They did a really fantastic job at recounting all the evidence that they found about what the Chupacabra is, how its origins came to be, all of that fun stuff. This picture that I'm using is from the original description given by, there was some sort of testimony by a young woman when she went out to check on like her farm animals. And the origin started actually in Puerto Rico. And there was like a 30-year gap before it was seen in Mexico and then became the legend that it is like today. With that being said, I still don't think the chupacabra has the same cultural significance in terms of Halloween creatures in the same way that obviously ghosts and aliens and zombies and vampires do. So while I do find the legend interesting and while I do appreciate the legend, I'm actually going to put it at the top of D tier. So in front of sirens, in front of the Kraken.
No arguments. I'm actually okay with that.
I'm gonna scoop these guys. Get this guy in there. Get in there, bud. Alright.
Alright. Good old chupacabra.
Next up, we have the Jersey Devil.
The what?
The Jersey Devil. That's the Jersey Devil. What do you mean? Y'all don't even know about the Jersey Devil? Y'all don't know anything about the Jersey Devil? Oh my god. My brother in Christ.
What is that? What is that?
Oh my god. Okay, well, I guess I'm pulling up the Wikipedia page.
Why is it built like that?
Okay, well, anyway. Shall I read the legend so that you know what we're working with here? You good? Do you need a minute?
I cannot be real. Look at him.
You haven't even heard the legend yet, my brother in Christ.
All right, okay. All right, let's hear it. Let's go.
So this is folklore in South New Jersey and Philadelphia. It is a legendary creature said to inhabit the forests of the Pine Barrens in South Jersey. It is often described as a flying biped with hooves, but there are many variations. And it has been reported to move quickly and is described as emitting a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream. So, in terms of the origin of the legend, there is a legend about a winged deer spirit by the Lenape people who originally populated the Pine Barrens, and they called it Imsing, which sometimes took the form of a deer-like creature with leathery wings. But the one that most people know is about the Lead family. According to popular folklore, the Jersey Devil originated with a Pine Barrens resident named Jane Leeds, known as Mother Leeds. The legend states that she had 12 children, and after discovering she was pregnant for the 13th time, cursed the child in frustration, declaring that the child would be the devil. In 1735, Mother Leeds was in labor on a stormy night when her friends were gathered around her. Born as a normal child, the 13th child transformed into a creature with hooves, a goat's head, bat wings, and a forked tail. Growling and screaming, the child beat everyone with its tail before flying up the chimney and heading into the pines. In some other versions, Mother Leeds was supposedly a witch and the child's father was the devil itself. Some versions of the legend also state that the local clergyman subsequently attempted to exorcise the creature. So it was basically based on this lady who had 12 kids already, and being told that she was pregnant for a 13th time, she was like, this child is gonna be the devil. Like, I've already had so many kids, this is gonna fucking suck. And then she gives birth, and then immediately after birth, the child turns into this beats the shit out of everyone, and flies up the chimney.
First off, Mother Leeds, I don't think the child deserves to be called a devil for being the 13th child. I think you should be talking to your husband about that. I mean,
She needs to take her grievances to her husband, not the child.
I mean, shit, Mr. Leeds, fucking get off your wife, you know?
Mr. Leeds,
Give her a
leave
break.
your wife alone.
Actually, just leave your wife alone. Second off, you curse your kid to be your 13th kid to be the devil, and I'm gonna say, you know, if you've ever cursed your soon-to-be child to be the devil, I don't know, man. I'm expecting he's supposed to look a lot more cool than just.
I mean,
that dude over there.
It just took on a bunch of devilish appearances, I guess, with the whole goat head and the bat wings and hooves, scrawny little arms. This is an infant, mind you. This is an infant. This is the picture of an infant.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay, I may have done nothing but laugh in the face of this creature. And I may still keep laughing in the face and the thought of this creature. Okay, I really don't want to seem that ignorant, especially since I've been given the rough short story, backstory rather, to this creature. But he is just ridiculous. And despite the fact that I have laughed at him for like 90% of his screen time, I'm sorry, little guy. I'm placing you in F.
Yeah, I think this is a very actively bad cryptid, and while I think it is fucking hilarious, it is actively bad. Cause it's like, what the fuck is going on here? No, you didn't even know what it was coming into it. I had to read the lore to you. It's just not good.
And the lore is still not that good.
The lore still doesn't really make it that good.
If anything, it just completely demystified him in my eyes.
Yeah, no, it's just, yeah. That's it. That's the guy. All right, last one.
That's rough. That is rough.
That's
All
rough,
right,
buddy.
Let's hear the last one.
That's rough, buddy. Another very popular internet cryptid, very well known in one very specific community. It's the Goat Man. It's the Goat Man. Hi, Goat Man.
The Goat Man. Okay.
Hi, Goat Man. His face is so fucked in this picture. Oh my god, so fucking bad.
I know the Goat Man. I know the bare minimum about the Goat Man, but that fucking picture is just the epitome of comedy.
This image is something else, man.
You got games on your phone.
This is like a toddler that sees you eating a snack and wants it. That's what it's... Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay. All right. Okay. Oh. Okay. I'm good.
I don't think you are yet.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Calmed down, but then I looked at the picture and I lost it again.
Are you recording me? You can't be recording me. I don't want you to be recording me. My
Okay, all right, okay. I'm done laughing at the picture. I'm sorry, Goat Man. You are no Jersey monster, so I apologize for laughing that much at you. That said, though, I don't have strong opinions about the guy. Yeah, I think he's in D, lowest D.
You think he's in lowest D tier? Gosh.
Yeah, but only because I don't really know that much about him. I definitely know about him more than I do the Jersey monster, but not that much. So maybe you can change my opinion by giving me a rundown of this guy.
I would say solely based on his internet folklore and presence on the internet and the way people perceive him on the internet, I would say he is behind Bigfoot, ahead of Cyclops. Just because of how much people on the internet seem to care about him. And I do find him very interesting. He is like a very specific demon, to my understanding, but he's also known as like a cryptid.
Yeah, he is kind of more of a cryptid, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna complain about placing him somewhere in C, you know.
Okay.
I do acknowledge the fact that he does have some cultural impact in the Halloween sphere, especially in our age of the internet. So I can't take that away from the Goat Man. Definitely.
Yeah, in terms of the digital presence that he has.
Yeah, it's just that picture is not doing him any favors.
I mean, I couldn't really find a terribly better picture of him, so don't even worry about him.
That picture is not doing him any favors. He should be thankful that people know him as the Goat Man, because if he were like the goddamn Jersey monster and I knew nothing about him, and that's the first image I see of him, he's an automatic F as well.
Yeah, no, that looks like a dude wearing a stupid rubber mask who's naked in the woods. Getting taken, it looks dumb as hell. Well,
just one of the guys of all time, man.
This is our definitive ranking of classic Halloween monsters. I did not pick out every single last iteration of monster because we would be here literally all day, and I have personally decided to omit 2 kaijus from my original list. I was gonna put Godzilla and King Kong. I'm like, those aren't really Halloween characters.
Yeah, they're not really Halloween.
They don't really apply.
I am a big Godzilla fan, I don't think they're much of a Halloween image.
Yeah, no. So I think this is pretty good. And to no one's surprise, I would say, of course, vampires are the apex of the form, top of their class, truly iconic, gorgeous, spectacular, delicious, scrumptious. We love vampires in this house. Followed closely by Frankenstein's monster, eldritch beings like Cthulhu, and of course Mothman. A tier, we got werewolves and demons. B tier, we got zombies, aliens, headless horsemen, and gorgons. C tier, we got ghosts in general, mummies, Bigfoot, the Goat Man, and Cyclops. D tier, chupacabra, sirens, and the Kraken. In the not for me tier, we have Swamp Man, with the exception of the Shape of Water, but we're not going to talk about that. F tier, actively bad. Sorry, y'all. Invisible Man and Jersey Devil are just not that good.
I could even argue that the Invisible Man is miles better than the Jersey monster, despite being.
You just really don't like the Jersey Devil.
I'm sorry, the Jersey monster just. I mean, come on, just look at the guy. Read his backstory, and come on, you're really just called the Jersey monster? My fucking god. My brother in Christ, then the word Jersey is not intimidating.
It's the Jersey Devil, because he lives in New Jersey. New Jersey itself is very intimidating, but you know.
Yeah, the place itself, but like the name, and it's just the Jersey monster? I don't know, man. I can see better monsters in like literally the next guy living in the house.
Am I the only one who knew about the Jersey Devil as I was setting up for this stream? Have none of you guys literally heard of the Jersey Devil before?
I don't know, just take that up with their chat. You know my opinion about this guy. I fucking laughed 90% of the time he was on screen.
Man, that's wild.
Fucking look at that dude. He just looks like a low-level monster from like, I don't know, an MMORPG from 2012 or something.
My god, I see how it is. Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, Zerath, thank you for joining me for my first ever tier list stream. I think we have a pretty handsome looking list over here.
Pretty solid, I'd like to say, yeah.
I'd say it's pretty freaking solid. And then, guys, my next stream will not be until Friday. We're getting back into Oxenfree. We're playing Oxenfree 2. I am not mentally or emotionally prepared for that, but, you know, such is the way that life goes. We'll see how long I last and how good the game is. I'm assuming that it's really, really good, but you know, I am forever in a state of fear.
Well, best of luck for you for that one. I'm probably gonna make fun of you if I'm there, so I won't.
I'm aware that you will. Well, anyway. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I had a really good time. Again, this is going to become a monthly occurrence. I have no idea what I'm going to do for next month's, but we'll figure that out when the time comes. But until then, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, your morning, your afternoon, your evening, whatever it might be, wherever you are. And I will see you guys again on Friday. Have a good one, guys. I'll see you later. Zerath, you want to say bye?
Bye, guys. You know, just have a great day, all of y'all. Just sit back and relax.
Yeah, bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye, bye-bye.